just get down close to that so you can get everybody can hear that. Welcome back to Redneck's Dirty Hands. I'm Pete. Today she's a little bit noisy out there. We got the cleanup crews going up and down the road, chipping all the trees that came down. We had not only the ice storm at the, well, it was a couple weeks ago, and then we had that freaking tornado come roll through here, eh, Jim?
No, it wasn't very good.
No, so we got all the leftover trees. Look at them. They're freaking, that's how you do it, eh? You just go grab an excavator and just knock them all down and stick them right in the chipper, just like Fargo. So they're doing that. It's a little cool and windy and noisy, but we're cleaning up the shop. We're kind of getting rid of all the stuff that we don't need in here. Get it out of here. Make room for projects. Still got to do some tinkering around with this. We're working on YOMAMA. You know, we're real close with YOMAMA. She's all back together, even though it looks like it's still a work in progress. I just got to pop the panels back on. So, like, everything's kind of figured out on it. Just reworking the original skid and suspension, the 129 setup, because we swapped that over, put a 137 in there when we went snow drag in there in Magnetawan, Arnie's Cat House. They gave us these super diggers there, but these aren't going to be too good for us doing test hits in the grass and all that. We've already snapped a few of these when you hit a few rocks and all that, so I want to save that. I think maybe in the future, next winter, maybe we throw that setup on the shocker and get Jim down the snow track and see, because you know what, we've proved it's pretty fast as a radar runner, but can we prove it being fast as a drag racer, hey Jim?
We sure can.
Oh, we're gonna try. And then maybe down the road here, we might have a future budget build over here. I picked this SX Viper off my buddy Brad at Motorsports Pickering there. We've got all the bits and pieces except for a couple of rat hoses I stole for YOMAMA, so we might have to track some of them down, but we're gonna get this out of the shop for now, but maybe come fall time, we'll do a resurrection cheap build. I gave him $1,000 for this sled. It's all complete, it's just in pieces. So, you know what, maybe we'll do that. I got a seat cover with it. I got all the exhaust. I got the motor. There's a bucket of bolts around here somewhere.
She's a real sweetie.
Oh, it's a real sweetie. Yeah, it'll buff out. It look good. And I mean, it does have this, you know it's a Viper. It's got the snake on there. So this project's gonna be on hold. This project's gonna be on hold. Anybody need a junk LS? We gotta get rid of that. We're gonna still tidy up, and then I think what we're gonna do is get going on this, get going on the skid and suspension. We gotta go in the C-can. We gotta get Nate's track off the squirter, because we put the speed track I had on YOMAMA when I was doing the 140. That's on Nate's, the squirter right now, so we're gonna put his original track from his, what was it? What year was that thing? 10?
2010, yeah.
2010 CFR, right? So that 800, they were a 128 252 pitch. That one though, it's not a 14 wide, it's a 15 wide. But because YOMAMA's gonna be a daily driver now kind of deal, we don't really need the super narrow track on it. So we're gonna keep it. We're gonna switch the drivers to the 252 10 tooth extroverts, and then put Nate's track on there. It's got two studs every row. So we'll have traction, and it'll be the kind of setup that we can rip down the front lawn or over at McLeanski's. So I say we pitter patter, get at her. Let's get that swapped in to there with a track and other drivers, so we can maybe actually,
if it dangles.
We can see if YOMAMA will get out there and dangle. This has been a long time coming. The two-stroke, it runs. We just don't know if it drives. So hopefully this afternoon we'll find out. What do you say, babe?
Fingers crossed.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's do it. Let's go for a wander in the yard here. Yeah, Jim's already got the C-can going. We were putting stuff in there, and I believe Nader's track is in there. Nader's got himself a new Ford effing Ranger. That's gonna be Nader's first vehicle. Nice one. Thanks to our good buddy Chris Forth there. We traded a riding lawnmower for it. So I don't know if Chris actually wanted to trade, but we talked him into it. That's a real sweetie.
Nice parking job.
Oh, yeah. So we got some sleds stored away in here. We will have to get the Power 1 out of here. Get it up and going again. And I got some plans for the T-Cat. I got to talk to my buddy Rob there. I got an idea floating around in the back of my mind, but I think that's Nader's track right there. Got the Raptor tucked away in here. The beer runner's in here. My bobber chopper's in here. Jeez, got too much stuff.
Sure. You used to have sharpened triggers on it, but they're not the greatest anymore.
Ah, good enough for the girl I go out with. Hey, looks like it's all
chewed up a bit.
Well, maybe we do got to get another skill saw blade and trim her down a little bit like we did on the shocker.
You know why, likely? Because it's a 15-inch wide track.
Oh, rubbing on the tunnel inside that
Because
seat.
they came factory with 14-inch wide.
That's right, yeah. Well, we got extra traction now. Look at all the mud all over. How did the Power 1 get all muddy?
I take it out when you're sleeping.
Oh. Sneaky, sneaky little girl. $30 hauler, still good. I bet you, that son of a bitch will still start up, won't it?
I bet you $1,000 it will.
Oh, how about a beer?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do this. She's been sitting here for a little bit, wide open to the elements. There's a little bit of water in there.
Meth injection.
Meth injection.
Oh, I better keep the choke on.
Yeah, give her the trope.
One cool wonder.
More could you ask for?
That's pretty awesome, eh, babe?
Not bad. Take your girlfriend for a ride.
I won't lie, though. I started it the other day.
No. Well, I mean, hey, it still starts, so there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Jeez, what are we gonna do with this one?
I'm thinking maybe... Did Scooter say he's got one?
He does. I think he's got one with the bogey wheel suspension in her.
Yeah. And this track is shot.
Yeah, it's not long for this world, so maybe we use this one as a parts rig, even though it is all complete. You know, we could run her until the track blows off and then do something with it. All right, I don't know. Put it in the comments. What do you think we should do with the $30 hauler?
We'll grass drag it.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
We already did that one.
True, yeah.
Take it to Haydays and run her in the vintage class.
Yes.
All right,
That's a good idea.
it's not the terrible idea. All right, well,
Find room for it.
we got other projects to do today. Yeah, I got to do a fuel pump on that Toyota, I think, too. That'll be in a day or two. I got off the phone with freaking Napa. Just guess how much a fuel pump for that was. From them, anyway. Yeah.
400.
Keep going north of that, buddy. It was $1,200. So I got on the old interwebs, and my buddy Bezos has one listed on there for $71. So we're gonna wait a few days to see if it's worth a gamble. $70 versus $1,200. I mean, if it doesn't fit, we might be able to make it fit. So, I mean, we'll be saving $1,100. Like, what is wrong with the world today? The pricing, the automotive parts is it's getting ridiculous. You know, Amazon is fairly handy though, because I had a can of the white vinyl paint and all that, but I ended up getting some black vinyl paint and a little bit of burgundy, some Ron Burgundy, because the Apex there had that gray panel in there and it just did not look right, and the wrap that Nick did had that splatter effect, so I wanted to recreate that on the seat, and I gotta say, I think we did a pretty good job, babe.
I'm pretty impressed that the reds are like the same color.
Yeah, I was gonna get, like, they do have red, the vinyl paint, but it was way too bright. It was like fire engine red, or almost like that kind of red. I was like, well, that's not gonna match or whatever. And then when I saw the burgundy on there, I was like, you know what, for a gamble. I mean, it wasn't cheap, you know, Amazon, even those cans, it was like $30 a can. But, I mean, she's mint. Look at this. Artsy fartsy. It is, you know, the splatter look kind of goes hand in hand with that Venom wrap that, I mean, it is pretty cool looking. So, hey, now we just gotta get it running as good as it looks. All right, what's the plan, Stan? Are we gonna lift this sucker up in the air on the lift and do her waist high, or just string the cherry picker there and just do it like that?
Yeah, I think so. We'll get it just cleaned up and organized here, and I think just lift it up with the cherry picker.
All right, yeah. Sounds like a plan. Stan, let's, yeah, tidy up. We got all the stuff, you know, JP wiring it. You know, we should have a contest or a guess thing, although I didn't really keep track, but it should be like, you know, the jar of jelly beans. Guess how many are in there? Guess how many zip ties we used on this project, because we got freaking zip ties everywhere on here. So, I mean, I don't want nothing rubbing or, you know, falling on the exhaust pipe and melting down or anything like that, but I've got coolant in it. We got fuel in it. It has successfully started a bunch of times. I got the voltage regulator just kind of mounted on top of the intercooler there, so it gets some airflow. It does run at charging, all that stuff. So, you know, a couple of tugs, she runs. So now we just got to get it drivable so we can see if it runs, drives, and puts a smile on everybody's face.
Everybody's been waiting for this.
Oh yeah, it's been literally the most... The highest amount of comments is, when's your mama? What's going on with that 700? When's it going to be running? What are you doing? Quit working on other stuff. Work on that one. So it's like, we're working on it. Yeah, we got to do the other stuff to pay the bills, eh? I still got to certify a trailer out there too today, so we'll see what happens. It's a little of the behind the scenes stuff that goes on, setting up some of the lights, baby.
Yeah. Brighten it up so we can see what we're doing.
Yeah, these lights are pretty handy, and they do go fairly bright. I think you gotta give her one more mode click. Oh, one more. There you go.
Better.
And see, they're little remote, controls them all. You can turn them up, turn them down, brightness, warm it up. But now with the lights on there, look how good YOMAMA looks. Jim, not too bad either.
Thank you.
He's been working out.
Like, look at the light reflecting off of that clutch that Nader polished up. Like, just, man, that's the best looking stock Yamaha clutch I've ever seen.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Yeah. Couldn't get so good with the primary. She's a little bit trickier to polish up, but at least the end plate's shiny. Not only are we working on a Yamaha, but apparently there's a Polaris in the shop too. Way to go, dog.
He's trying to escape the scene of the crime. Yeah, come clean this up.
Yeah, can't, like, why can't you go outside? She's got to drop a Polaris in here.
Open.
Right, well, while Jim's getting your mama prepped and ready to take apart, he's got to take the chain case apart and all that. We got to pull the drive shaft, skid, suspend, track, all that stuff. So I'll get the original one back together. Now this one here, this was the setup I did. These are 9-inch rear wheels. This is a kit I got off of Trick Toys. It's just a straight axle. It's not an offset axle one. I didn't want the offset axle because I wanted to use the stock suspension for it. And if you do the offset, it brings the wheels way up too far. Suspension doesn't cycle. That's why we modified Jim's on the shocker to work it all. So I ended up moving the axle. The original axle location was down here. I moved it up and back, so I added a piece of aluminum to the top and notched it. And then I've got my own custom aluminum adjuster blocks here to push it, so it all works the same. We got some new sliders on there. These were some custom wheels I made to add to the skid when doing the radar running to keep the resistance low. Hopefully, maybe I'll reach out to Trick Toys again, see if I can get some shinier wheels for the side of YOMAMA, get her looking good. But for now, this is what we're gonna do. And I've got these original, the standoffs, but I mean, they got some shiny aluminum bits and, you know, the clutches are polished. So, I mean, yeah, you won't really see these, but I mean, I'm not as good at polishing as Nate is, but I got my own secrets. Come here, babe. I got the old wire wheel here, and you know, these things are pretty crappy looking. Quick little go around on there.
Would you look at that?
That's what you call a nice one. So we're just gonna give them a quick wire wheel and hopefully not lose any fingers while doing it. Look at that. Like night and day difference. Nice and shiny, not so much. So I'll give the rest of them that treatment, and then we'll put the wheels on. And then we should be good to, I'll give Jim a hand, we'll get that out and get it all switched around. Oh, pump it up, Jim, pump it up.
Pump up the jam.
So what we're trying to do here is, because everything's all mocked up or whatever, we got enough room. We've got the oil tank and the chain case cover separated off. Now I'm pretty sure when I set this all up, I set it back to the stock like original Sidewinder gearing. So I believe it's a 21 top tooth I got in there, and then the original bottom, which was a, what the heck was that, 40 or 41 I think. So because we're going to be running the 11 tooth drivers on there, because that's how I had it set up with those 9-inch wheels in the back and the 11 tooth drivers. The axle placement on the back was perfect just for getting the track nice and tight. So because we're putting the 128 back in there, you know, probably should try and go down to a 10 tooth 252, but I want to be able to make sure that the track's going to stay tight, it's going to be drivable. If we got gearing issues or performance issues down the road, we'll change it down the road. But for now, at least this way, we know it'll bolt together, everything will tighten up, and it will be drivable. Whether it performs the way we want it, well, we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, once we get this out, I'll have to get the tickety-boo stickers on the on the new suspension there, but yeah, to fit this one in, I had to shrink. I cut and welded a couple of suspensions together just to get it in the drag race position. You know, this was a 137 skid put into a 129, you know, chassis and all that. So if you sit there and you think, oh, you can change them one to the other, no, you can't. The mounts are totally different. Just a pouring rain out today. Lovely day if you're a duck. Yeah, you pulled the front slipper bar out too. I mean, hey, might as well. It makes it easier to get her in and out. You don't have to, but you know what? It is what it is. Oh, baby, can you come work the camera for a second? I'll give Jimothy a hand here. Thanks, baby.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Okay, going your way, Jim.
Yeah.
Freaking battle. Oh, there we go. Nice one. Come check this out, babe. I'll show you. I'm pretty sure I had it in the video when I did this, but we made up custom tunnel protectors out of that aluminum square tubing, just so that these huge freaking dangle diggers wouldn't get into the heat exchanger or the tunnel, right? Because these things would have tore it right apart. End up like a poor buddy, Josh. The Amish engine there took the heat exchanger out of his Apex when we were out there on the lake. But yeah, that skid, that was the one that you and I went up. Remember John up in Marmara?
Oh yeah.
That was we got that suspension from him. And then my buddy Brad at Napa there mixed up the Yamaha blue. We sprayed her up pink, so it's the same blue I used on that one. So, you know, you can't beat that. That was bright orange. You know, she Nice blue. We'll have to paint it again though if we end up putting it in the shocker. Should be going green. So now all we gotta do is get this track out of here, and then we'll have to swap. We're gonna take the drive shaft out of here. We're gonna press the original drive sprockets off, because this is still a 286 pitch track and everything. So we're gonna take those 11 tooth drivers. Walk with me, talk with me, babe. Where the heck did we put those? These big dukers here. So we're gonna take these off, put them on that drive shaft. I would leave them on here, but this is the lightweight axle I got from Hurricane Performance there. Had the same one originally in YOMAMA, and then we had the same setup in the shocker. And what we learned with the shocker there is, 160 mile an hour, the sprockets move on the lightweight axle. I don't know if you can get a good shot of that. You see how it's just these corner pieces where it bites on the sprocket? So it's not grabbing the whole hex, the flat side.
Oh, yeah.
So it's only wedged in on the corners. And being wedged in on the corners like that is not strong enough. These things are moving around. So, I mean, that's a pretty sketchy deal. So I don't want that happening on YOMAMA. So we're just gonna press them onto the solid hex shaft. I mean, lightweight. It's not really that much freaking lighter anyway, so. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, these lightweight shafts. Junk, what do you think, Jim?
Jump.
Junk. To make removing the drive shaft and this brake rotor anyway a little bit easier. Pull the little pin and pull your brake pads out of there. That way it allows that rotor to flop around in there. So then, once you unbolt the caliper and all that, you should be able to work it out and then pull that brake rotor out and then pull that whole assembly off the drive shaft, Jim. Should. I don't know. You can see, looks like at some point in its life, I've been beating on this thing like a redhead stepchild, because there's hammer marks in there. So I do remember when JP owned this, we were swapping, doing the bearing or something, and we could not get the freaking rotor off of there. I know I finally did get it off, and I had to grab a file and, carve and shape all the freaking splines on here just to get it off and to get it sliding on. So hopefully that hasn't become an issue again. So we'll let Jim figure that out.
Oh, I almost forgot.
Oh, time to go get Nate, eh?
Yeah.
1 minute.
God damn it. Give me that.
Alarm's gonna go off.
Give me the ratchet. Well, Jim was good enough before he had to go get Nate. He got it unbolted and we got the brake rotor off. It was a bit of a struggle, but in moving it all around, we noticed, you look at that, like look how much movement there is from the inner race onto the drive shaft, which is a common problem on these things. But I can kind of tell. I already welded this one up. This thing was smoked when JP got it, I'm pretty sure. So we welded it, put another bearing in. And this bearing here, I don't know if it's just from sitting or whatever, but she is not spinning. This thing is chunky. Maybe, I don't know if that happened just from sitting, or maybe that's why YOMAMA was only hitting 140.
Right,
Freaking,
slowing her down.
Yeah, the bearing was slowing her down, but we do have in stock a couple of bearings that I do believe are the right ones. So this might change the plans a little bit. I don't know if I've got a better drive shaft, or maybe we do just put that lightweight one in here because it fits a bearing nice, I do believe. Where'd we put that shaft, baby? Oh, over in the press, see?
Oh, yeah. Forgot we were over there.
Yes, that is a nice tight fit. So as much as I don't like these shafts, I mean, it might be the only good one we got for a bearing, unless I try and weld that one up again, put it in the lathe and turn it down so it fits the bearing good. What's your call, baby? What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
I'll do whatever you say.
Oh, rub my feet. Yeah, I don't know about these.
I'm not a fan of these lightweight shafts, but I don't know. Maybe because the shocker's like almost 400 horsepower and hitting, you know, 160 mile an hour is too much for these, the lightweight shafts with these ones pressed on there. YOMAMA's only gonna be, like, I'm hoping 180 to 200 horsepower. So wouldn't have as much power, and we're not gonna be doing 150. Like, I'll be lucky. I'll be happy if it does 120.
Yeah.
You know, so. But because these have moved a bunch of times, are they just gonna keep moving around? And I kinda like, you know, having the extroverts, so I turned all these off of gyms for the speed running and all that, but if we're gonna be ripping YOMAMA in the grass and all that, the anti-ratchet, the extroverts on here will kind of keep it from skipping, so. What to do? Should I have a beer and think about this?
Sounds like this is the one you want to go for.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like this shaft just because they keep moving. Maybe I can make like a lock collar or something to put on the shaft to stop them from moving. Oh, we'll
Probably.
see. We'll see. Hey, girl.
Hey.
All right, so we'll deal with one dilemma at a time. We got to get this drive shaft out of here and the track out. So everything's just kind of floating around in here, so I'm hoping I can just slack the track off and pull that out of there. Oh, putting her back in might not be quite as easy, but that there is the stock drive shaft, and yeah, you can see I've totally welded this one up and turned it down in the lathe, so I think we got to hit that a little bit more weld, because I'd rather use this drive shaft, you know.
I mean, if you think it'll work better.
I think so, but time will tell, I guess. So I got to pull this clip off, knock that guy out of there, and then we'll clean this all up. I'll press these guys off, but first I guess what we'll do is we'll set our jig up on the bench there so we know the position of these sprockets, so when we go to put the 11 tooths on here, we know where to put them, so everything runs in a straight line. All right, baby, so these sprockets 3 1/4 inches wide. These sprockets 3 1/4 inches wide. So I got the brake rotor side butted up against the vise. Paint marker, outside sprocket, outside of sprocket. Same over here, right? So then if we take this guy out of the way, this was the one that was moving around in the shocker. So line that up.
Yeah.
We're 1/4 inch off there and 1/4 inch off there, so they moved over that way. Now the first time with his 11 tooth setup on there, it moved like 3/4 of an inch over. Like, we were looking at the back of his track was sitting this way, and you could see the track was running off the rails. It was like, something is wrong here. And then, yeah, sure enough, these things just keep walking towards the one side. So I was like, well, I don't really know what to do about that. And then we were talking with Rob, and he was like, yeah, they move around all the time on these freaking things, so I don't want that. So we'll go to the press, we'll pop these ones off, those ones off, and then put these ones, even though this shaft's a little bit rusty and I gotta weld it up. Obviously I welded it once already, but I mean, why not do it again?
Weld her again.
I'll just give her a bunch of tack welds all the way around, then I got the sprockets off, I'll put it in the lathe, And then we'll just turn it down so it's nice and smooth until the bearing is just a nice tight. I don't want it to be a press fit, but I don't want it to be flopping like a hot dog down the hallway. You know, just so it's nice. And then we'll be good to go. Maybe just hit this with a wire wheel so your mama doesn't have a big old rusty shaft in her.
Nobody likes that.
I guess. See if we can get this clip off of here, baby. Oh, she's like a snap ring. These aren't the right pliers for it, but getting her going anyway. Getting her. Just like so. See, these are just regular snap ring pliers. I'm just using the flat edge of them to spread the thing apart. So, I mean, it's doable. It's not ideal. So we got the little dust cover off, that snap ring. We'll leave that there. And we'll just go over to the press. You can only press them off, I think. I think they only go one way because this flares out. It's too big of a shoulder to pass them over. So we're going to be pushing this shaft straight through. So we're just going to keep pushing this guy down until, there we go. Already sliding off that one. Then we'll engage second gear here. So I'm just gonna release this up a little bit. And then I'll put my little steel spacers right tight to the shaft. That way it's supported right by the shaft and not flexing the pulleys, because that pulley there, she's pretty buggered up now. So if you plan on reusing them, yeah, you might want to maybe cut the steel bands off too, relieve some tension.
You sure you don't want to use the other one?
Don't tell me my business, devil woman. We're getting there, we're getting there. I should have cut the steel bands off of these ones just to relax it on the plastic a little bit, but it is what it is. We just got to keep pumping.
Could have been nice and put some lube in there.
That's what she said. Yeah, probably could have cut the steel bands off and put some lube in there, and they probably would have slid out just like butter, but we're not reusing these sprockets, and nobody ever wants stock sprockets anyway, so it's alright if we buggered it up a little bit. Got it most of the way with the press, but to get it the rest of the way, it's me and my buddy Martello. You gotta have a good knockometer in the shop to get the job done sometimes. So there is that. Now, we had the bear. Hold on, pause. So there is the stock shaft right there. You can see it's solid hex in the middle where the sprockets go. There is that lightweight one. So the only real difference is it's carved out on there, which, like, honestly, how much lighter is this thing even gonna be? Don't feel much lighter. So I don't see the benefit in having that in there. I'd rather have these, and I mean, for the fact of just having to weld that up, well, I'd rather do that than risk the friggin' thing slipping off.
Yeah. Do it now, I got it out.
Yeah, let's go to the wire wheel, we'll buff that up.
All cleaned up.
All cleaned up, ish.
Ish.
Jim, you're back. I'm thinking it might be worth a shot before I go welding and everything on there, because it's not that far off. A while ago I bought a Knurling bit off of my buddy Bezos for a project, I think for making the foot pegs on my motorcycle there. So I'm wondering if I just chuck this thing up in the lathe here, and if I knurl where the bearing goes, that might expand it enough so it's a nice little fit on there.
Okay. Worth a try.
It's worth a shot. If it don't work, then we'll weld it. Supervisor Deeron's here helping Jim now.
See if I can zoom in.
Nice. Little stiff, isn't it?
Why did it have a Viagra?
Right here. Get down here. Let me see something stiff.
Huh? Back to our regularly
Yeah, anywho.
whatever program. Sketch program.
Here's the new bearing. So you can see, like, you're not supposed to be able to do that quite so easy. So I'm gonna try doing the knurl on there, see if that tightens it up on there. Okay, so. This is all new to me, baby, so we're just gonna see what happens here. All I'm gonna do is just go back and forth, adding a bit of pressure. Let's see if that did anything. Oh. No, it ain't doing squat.
Oh.
She's too hard. So, looks like we're welding, honey. It's worth a shot.
Well, now you know it doesn't work.
All right. Although, on a side note, what we can do now, while we're here, take a little bit of hammer cloth. Get this guy out of the way. Clean her up a little bit.
It's a bit better.
Nice and clean now anyway, so I sanded all that off. I'll take it over to the welding bench. I'll give her some tack-a-doodles. See what happens, right? Watch out, Poppy. Alright, so after a wee bit of farting around in the lathe there, I got it all machined down. So I welded a few times, did some passes straight across it, and then turned it down so it was a close tolerance fit. The bearing was just kind of slipping on fairly easy, so then I took my center punch and just divoted it a few times all the way around, and then now, that bearing there is a nice snug fit. There's no wobble or nothing. She's turning nice and smooth, holds the inside race on perfectly, and she pops off. So that right there is a nice one. And I got the 11-tooth drivers pressed on, so they're all evened out. I cleaned up the shaft, and you know, you can see I got it marked there. You kind of got to pay attention when you're popping drivers off and pressing them back on, because they're hex. You can clock one sprocket opposite the other, and then they won't line up. So I just marked it, so guaranteed we know it's gonna slip in YOMAMA, no problem. And then Now I just gotta wait for Jim and Christina. We'll put this back together. Alrighty, well, speaking of the devil, we got Jim and Christina back in the shop. I put the drive shaft in there first thing, and now Jim is taking over. We're like the original tag team duo. Poor YOMAMA. So, Christina.
Peter.
What are we gonna do?
We're gonna change the track and then we're gonna rip her across the lawn.
There we go. Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, the grass is coming in nice and green. Maybe we'll just rip her down the driveway.
It could use a little aerating.
Yeah.
True, yeah.
Let's rip it across McLeanski's lawn. Can I get a hallelujah? All right, so the 11 tooth 252 drivers, new bearing, everything going on in there. I think I got the skid all set and ready to go. So let's see. Oh yeah, it's tickety-boo, ready to go. So little by little, I'm working on that trailer outside right now. I got to get quick yellow sticker job done to pay the bills. So we'll be bouncing back and forth, but hopefully here shortly, we'll be dangling YOMAMA. Yeah. You heard at her, eh?
The worst thing about these sleds.
Putting the freaking skids in there. And this one, I know it's a little bit of a bear because it's got the 9-inch rear wheels, the 11 tooth front drivers, and it's kind of set to the max, so it just basically fits in there and shouldn't take too much to adjust it up. But she's gonna be tight, Jim. But carry on, I'll keep working on the trailer. I'll give you a hand. How's it going? Usually we got D-Ron as the supervisor, but you are way better looking.
Taking the position today.
Oh, baby. Well, thanks to your help, we do have it together, but Jim, we may have an issue. I totally forgot when I had this thing set up for radar running with YOMAMA. The 11 tooth drivers and the 9-inch wheels basically make this thing guitar string tight without any adjustment required. Like the axle it's ahead as far as it can go, and yeah. So, I mean, we're still gonna try it the way it is, but I think what we have to do is I'm gonna have to take it all apart and take those 11 tooth 252 drivers off and put the 10 tooth 252 drivers on, because they are a fair bit smaller, and that should, you know, might be the magic zone where you still don't have to adjust it, but it ain't too tight, it's just right. You know, might be the Goldilocks. What do you think, babe?
Yep.
So let's get that shiny clutch back on there. We'll put a belt on it. We'll fire it up. We'll see if it even spins. Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, YOMAMA's running. Let's see if it's got potential of moving. If it will turn, it's not too tight. Maybe we take it up and down the driveway. If it is way too stinging tight, I mean, we like working on this stuff. We could take it apart again, put 10 tooth drivers on there. I mean, you guys like watching this stuff, don't you? All right, I guess all we can do is grip her and rip her, pin her and grin her. Let's see if the track will turn on this thing. Power on. Please, baby, work. Might have to edit this out. I don't think I unplugged anything. track is definitely stinging tight. You can smell the rubber.
You can hear it sticking.
Oh yeah. Alright, so, I mean, one step closer to where we need to be though. So she runs. We gotta change those drive sprockets, Jim.
Gosh dang it.
What, do you have any other plans? After a break from our sponsor here, baby, we got it back in, and you may have lost your supervisor position because
I see that.
we've got two other supervisors, D-Ron and his fiance.
all done right.
So I guess we got to pitter patter, get at her, and film how we got this to work.
Okay.
Well, is that a tripod in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Bend over for a minute.
Jim, you've been hard at her while I was gone there for a minute. So, after take two, you know, I did kind of foreshadow. I totally forgot when we had this set up as the radar runner in YOMAMA. I had it like sacked right out and it was kind of conveyor belted, and it was like tight. We did not have to adjust it when it was in YOMAMA. It was like once we got it in, it was as tight could be. So yeah, no way those 11-tooth drivers and the 9-inch wheels and the 128 were fitting in here. That was so tight. Jim and I both trying to spin that track by hand. It couldn't do it. Took everything we got, and you could see it in the earlier clip when we got it revving. As soon as you let off the throttle, the track stopped instantly. Like if you were taking this for a ride down the driveway, it would chuck you over the freaking handlebars once you drop the throttle. So, but now, Jim, give it a little spin by hand there now. Oh my God.
One hand.
Oh, she got a dangle for sure, and we can actually adjust it now, you know.
Tighten it up a bit. Yeah.
So. Definitely the 10-tooth 252 pitch drivers were the way we should have went from the beginning, you know. Sorry, man. You're getting good. We'll be experts on the Pro Cross chassis there, sidewinders and all that. If you need them work done, we know how to do it over and over and over again. And I also managed to find the original suspension that came in the old Apex here had the exact same Trick Toys 9-inch wheels that I got on YOMAMA, so I stole the two other ones off. I just put them in the lathe and faced them off just to get them shiny. So, and I had the 4th wheel standoff kits, so got to move these wheels or just ditch them completely. We'll leave the wheels in the front. I got my 4 9-inch wheels in the back for stability because we're grass dragging with this one now. We need the stability. We want this thing to dangle and not break. All right, Jim, are we ready for take 2?
Let's try her, Jim.
Okay. Christine is all set up with the video camera for the background shot. Supervise. Here, D-Ron. Make yourself useful. Make sure you get us all in the clip, eh?
Just your feet?
Not just her feet. All right, so we got the power on, right? All right, let's look out, Poppy.
Yeah, get out of the way.
thing sounds wild.
Does sound pretty good.
EFR it's actually running a little bit fat.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it is. So we'll have to get into the old computer and do the bloop bloops and.
Some deleting.
Revenue.
It's not. It was after if you hold it because it's running fat for a bit, and then once it gets past it, then it takes off. So I think that's all like a tune issue. This is an 800 stroker tune on a 700 turbo-ish setup. So we'll have to figure it out a little bit, but it's ringing my eardrums. It sounds pretty good.
It does sound nice.
So, and it's definitely free rolling. Everything's working good that way. Everything seems tight and right. She might be ready for a dangle.
Cross the pond. Put your water wings on.
We're not going across the pond with your mom. Not yet, anyway. All right, well, it took a little bit of farting around and figuring out, but we got the skid in there. It's all rolling, it's working. I was gonna take it for a test drive yesterday, but the coolant temp wasn't reading and the thing was running rich. It was jamming all kinds of fuel to it. It was reading -4 degrees, and it's not -4 degrees. It's actually quite nice outside, isn't it, honey?
It's a little cool, but yeah, it's nice. I'll take it.
Yeah, well, it's croc weather.
It's crap weather. Yeah.
So I figured out I put a GM, that little barb I made, the coolant temp sensor that I was gonna put in the Apex that I ended up not using in there, I put in this one. So I got that going, and then I put a air temperature sensor in as well. I pulled that out of that side winder that was over there. So at least now we're reading air intake temperature and coolant temp. So for fuel injection, you need to know those things because it adjusts the amount of fuel depending on the weather. So obviously if it was reading -4, it was jamming the fuel to it. So now hopefully it's not doing that. And we're gonna take her for a maiden voyage.
I'm excited.
Right? Me too. It's actually gonna drive off the lift. Well, I hope it's gonna drive off the lift all under its own power. We're not, the grass is coming in nice and green. I'm not gonna drive on the grass. I'm just gonna rip down the driveway. So, cross your fingers. Hopefully this thing works.
It's gonna work.
I don't know. I'm sure I forgot to tighten something up, but hopefully nothing bad happens here. I can hear the turbo winding down.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's running under its own power. It's driving, all that stuff. I mean, I think it still needs... I need Aunt Massey, you know, Jerry down there, give me a hand. We'll fine-tune the tune. But this thing definitely has potential. So, right? It sounds good. Well, we gotta put the plastics on it and see how it looks all together out in the air.
Out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
It sounded good, looked good.
Yeah, I think she's a winner chicken dinner, baby.
That's exciting. Good job, honey.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Thank you, baby. All right. Well, your mama's finally done. She's out running, driving. You know, let's soak it in. Bunny. Your mama is finally done. Well, I wouldn't say it's done, but she's together.
Yeah.
She's looking good. She looks mint.
She looks fantastic.
Sounds mint.
Yes.
Just needs a little bit of tuning, but I'd say she's good to go for next year.
Okay. This is exciting.
This is exciting. Here, baby, I'll give you the camera. We're rolling.
Oh my God. You can't get me where I'm not paying attention.
Wow. This is reality TV at its finest, honey bunny. Alright, so yeah, it's been a while. Everybody's, you know, been on my case about, you know, getting your mama done. Well, your mama's basically done. You know, yeah, we missed out on the snow season, but you know what? It's done, it's together, she looks good, she sounds good. I mean, I would love to buy that from Yamaha. You know, if Yamaha still existed, this would be a wild freaking sled. They'd sell thousands of them, I would think, but who knows? This is the only one in existence. We do got to get the tune figured out on it. It's not quite where I want it to be, but it's up and running and driving. So thanks everybody for tuning in and following this along. Stay tuned. We're gonna get it up and ripping. If we can get her tuned up, get it down to Aunt Massey's, maybe we can get it on the dyno, get this thing really rocking. Maybe we'll grass drag it this season. Maybe take it to Moorfield or something. Maybe take it to Haydays.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Let's
I
do
don't
that.
know. It's a plan. It's an option, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I appreciate everybody tuning in, following the build, following the channel. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. It's free. Free 99. You don't have to pay a dime. You know, it's a good... I think it's good content, you know. We're still doing a little bit of the snowmobile stuff, even though the snowmobile season's over, but we're going to be doing all kinds of other stuff too, so stay tuned for that. And everybody going to the website, www.rednecks-dirtyhands.com, getting some merch, some stickers, some shirts, some hats. We got beer koozies. We got her all. So, but as always, thanks for tuning in. Take her easy. Cheers. Might as well take her back into the shop. That is the only downside, is you have to pull the panel off every time.
Yeah.